Hey guys, Jonah Fox here, and today I have a playing video for you. That means I want you to grab your C harmonica. We're gonna play some blues, specifically an acoustic blues jam, which does not use any bends. It goes like this. Check it out. Let me explain how all of this is going to get set up. So first, I'm just going to go through the notes of this and explain how you should play it and how I'm thinking about it. After, I'm going to switch over to training mode, where you can play with this song slowed down at multiple different tempos. Finally, I have the track with and without harmonica available for download below if you want to go put this all together, especially without my harmonica part over the top. Let's go and get started with this. The jam that we're playing today is in the key of G, and I'm playing on a C harmonica, specifically a Hohner crossover if you're curious. Next, let's talk scales. This tune mostly uses the major pentatonic scale. I think it's a good idea to know what scales you're focusing on while you're learning something because it'll help you out more when it comes to improvising down the road. I think scale practice is really important, so let me just introduce this scale to you. I'll put the tabs on the screen if this is new, and you can find the tabs for every main scale below in the description in my scale cheat sheet download. It's just a free PDF that you can print out and use it for scale practice. Okay, here's the major pentatonic scale. That's the scale we are mostly using for this song, though I have mixed in a couple notes that are outside of the scale and we are also going to skip the bend. As far as bends go, even though this tune doesn't use them, if you do know how to bend, I will show you how to apply those to this song a little bit later on. And finally, before we get started, if learning songs like this is helping you, consider checking out my upcoming course called Blues Harp Success when it releases on February 15th. It's going to launch with 25 full songs included, as well as the guidance and feedback to make you a great harmonica player. If you're ready for things to really get serious and for you to have a lot of fun and learn a bunch of music, keep it on your radar. Okay, let's go and get started. There's two 12-bar loops here in this song, so let's go take a look at the first loop. We're going to start with this. For this first phrase, I'm adding some wah to make these notes more interesting. Make sure that when you do this though, that you're cupping your hands enough to get a noticeable difference between the sound of your hand being cupped and muted and your hand being off and open. You could do this by taking your whole hand and moving it in, or maybe flexing on the bottom of your hand, but just make sure that your fingers are really cupping over the back of your harmonica. A lot of beginners that when I see their wah, it sounds something like this. And it just like nothing's happening there. So it's not about how it looks, it's about how it sounds. So make sure that you're really getting a nice cup when you go and do this. All right, next up we have another phrase that goes like this. In this phrase, we're going to start on the tonic note, move down, and then we're going to go up the scale and end on the middle octave of the G. The timing of this can be tricky, so you refer to the recording for the exact right timing in training mode later on. Next, we have this. Note-wise, this is pretty easy, but the timing is kind of particular. It might take some extra practice, but this is a kind of a bluesy timing that if you learn it and internalize it, it will really spice up your own improvisation down the road. Then we're going to end with a turnaround that goes like this. The first line of this goes up the major pentatonic scale, only to drop back down to 4 blow, and then move back up to 6 blow. I think this is really fun to play. The rhythm here is very bluesy and very cool. Next, we're in the second progression. We start with a trill on 3 and 4 draw. Now, when we're trilling, we're usually going to trill on chords. So what is 3 and 4 draw? First of all, we would call this a double stop because it's a 2-note chord. And technically, this is a B minor chord, but it doesn't really sound like one. It sounds more like a G chord, just without the G. So that's how I think about it. I think of it as a G chord missing the root or the bass note here of the G. And we're going to play around with this. It's not a straight trill because we're kind of swinging it a little bit. It has a specific timing like this. And then we are going to move into a response phrase. The first one's going to go 5 blow, 3 blow, 3 draw. The second time around, we play the same trill phrase, but we end by going up the scale and then landing on the middle octave of the G like this. For this part, you should pay attention to the rhythm and try to get it as accurate as possible, and especially try to get that final 6 blow have a little bit of an extra accent when you're playing. After that, we have a phrase that I often just use to pass time in a blues song. It goes like this. Two of those notes, the 5 draw and the 4 draw, which we've used before in the song, are borrowed from the blues scale. Because of the chord structure of the blues, specifically its use of 7th chords, we can often shift between the major and minor scales in second position. We would call this modal mixture. So sometimes when you're playing a blues, you can use the major pentatonic, and sometimes you can use the blues scale. And if the situation is right, you can do both of them at the same time and combine them for an interesting effect. But if you're going to do this on your own, just remember you can play minor notes over a major blues, but you can't play major notes over a minor blues. It just doesn't work the other way. So if you're playing over a minor blues that uses minor chords to construct it, don't use notes from the major pentatonic scale. It's just not going to sound very good. After that, we are going to go back to the trill phrase, which sounds like this. And we're going to end it like we did the first time. Finally, our ending is like the ending of the first loop, but the timing is going to be a little bit different. Try to listen to it when you get to the training mode. It's going to sound like this. And then we play a descending phrase that ends on 2 draw. Before we move on to the training mode, if you could do me a favor, click a like on the video. It helps this video reach more people, and it's just an easy way of saying thanks. Real quick, I want to suggest how to apply bends with this. So in this major pentatonic jam, I think bend scoops work really well. So if you have any draw note and you try to bend into it, you can release that bend and play a bend scoop. Now, if you learn how to do this, you can add these to any draw note. So let's say that trill that we were doing, let's say we do a bend scoop up to the 3 draw, which we're going to do like a 3 whole step draw bend and then release it really quickly like this. And it would sound like this. It sounds more interesting, and it's an easy thing to do if you know how to bend. Okay, now I will jump into training mode. I have the whole song available at 4 different tempos. Tabs will be on the screen and also in the description, and after you can check out the backing tracks so you can play this without my harmonica part getting in the way. Here's training mode. I hope you had fun with this one. If you want to learn another song, go click this video right up here, and I will see you next time. Peace.